Hey guys and girls, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another video. So I went on holiday recently to Finland. So we got back like yesterday or the day before. And the first thing I wanted to do was to do a Mass Effect Andromeda video for you guys. So a gameplay footage hit before I went on holiday to Finland. Of course, I watched it. I couldn't wait. So I jumped straight on and watched it. And this is the first chance I've had to actually sit down and record my thoughts on it and talk a little bit about what we learned about Mass Effect Andromeda. So let's start off by saying how excited I was to see this gameplay footage. Now, this probably is one of the biggest things I've been waiting for Mass Effect Andromeda pretty much since E3 2015. I've been waiting to see some gameplay footage. It finally hit at the Sony meeting where they revealed the PlayStation Neo, and I have to say that the gameplay footage looks absolutely fantastic. This game looks so beautiful. Now, it was presented by Aaron Flynn. And he basically was showing it as a way to showcase the power of the PlayStation Neo. And he was talking about at the start that the best way to see this game would be to watch it in 4K. I think it's just something like go away and come back when you guys have like 4K screen or whatever. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, I don't have the money to buy a 4K screen. I don't think I'm going to be getting a PlayStation Neo when it comes out, simply because I can't afford it. I have to upgrade my TV plus my my actual console. So yeah. But anyway, enough about that. Anyway, let's actually talk about the gameplay. So it looked really, really sweet. The graphically looked incredible. We got to see this kind of like underground sort of temple type thing, and it looked so cool. It looked so alien, and like nothing we'd seen. The actual temple they were in, it looked alive. There were these lights, and it was moving, and it was interacting with our main protagonist as he was sort of exploring it, and it looked really beautiful. And Aaron Flynn talked about how the power of the PlayStation Neo obviously allows them to expand upon what they can do graphically, the color palette they have available, and also the lighting effects and the subtlety that they can show, from light to dark in the game. But even in 1080p, it looked quite beautiful. We got to see a little bit of movement. So we got to see our character actually using his jetpack. Now, we don't know how this worked because we couldn't actually see any sort of UI control interface or anything like that. So there's no idea whether this is just a one press button and it's just a one movement, whether you can hold down the button and maybe you have some kind of like stamina bar or something like that to affect it. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually works if you can control it. But it is going to make exploration really fun in terms of navigating, as well as combat, of course. But it looked really cool. Movement of the character again looked really fluid. We still have the little arrow directions to show going up and left, but it seemed like this was a lot quicker, a lot smoother, and it looked really, really cool. Now, Aaron Flynn and Mac Walters, when he was interviewed, have said that Andromeda is really going to sort of harken back to the original Mass Effect game, where everything was on the onus of exploration and discovering things for the first time. And I really like that, the vibe that we're getting from the game, that it is about exploration. It's about discovering new worlds and coming across new alien races, and it looks really, really sweet. You actually can scan the areas around you, so it's not just throwing out a probe and scanning a planet for iridium or something like this. Now you can actually your actual main character has the ability to scan the areas from like wildlife, from plants to the animals in the world, and you can obviously discover things about them. And I think they were talking about these plants he was scanning, and they were talking about how like they were really unusual because they were underground in the dark. They didn't have direct access to sunlight. How did they grow? How would they hear? All these kind of unanswered questions. We did get to see some little kind of like alien races, these guardians. They remind me very much of the collectors in the second Mass Effect 2, and obviously those are patrolling the areas, and you have to stay out of sight. They won't attack you unless obviously you get too close to them, those kinds of things. But we did see two different kinds of races, those sort of collector type, reaper type races where they have like these tentacles and they're hovering in the ground. We got to see sort of a bipedal alien as well on 2 feet in the distance, though we didn't get to see a lot about them, but it looks really, really interesting, and I really loved it. We got to see, obviously, our male protagonist. We saw Male Rider. Now, Mac Walters actually revealed in an interview that the 2 characters that we've actually seen, the female rider, which was in the E3 trailer in 2016, is the female rider, and the one that we saw recently was the male rider, and they are actually brother and sister. And the really interesting thing as well is they actually exist in the world together simultaneously. So if you choose to play as the female rider, then your brother will be somewhere in the universe exploring as well. And the actual N7 soldier that we saw in the E3 trailer in 2015 is actually their father. So it's really interesting to think about that, the fact that they're going to exist simultaneously. Now, is that going to affect the companions that you come across? Are only certain companions going to be available with certain, whether you play the male or female? Is it going to affect the storyline at all? It's really interesting to find out that. Of course, I assume you're going to be trying to find your father in the world. And now I actually think that he is one of the first explorers to go out to Andromeda, and perhaps sort of the young riders, the rider siblings, have come afterwards, after the fact that he's gone, and perhaps they're trying to find their father. There are some very interesting ideas going out there on the internet. GamerMD 83 basically hopes that he's the main villain in the game, and that he has obviously had a very different idea, different concept of colonization, and maybe perhaps the children are trying to stop their father, to find him and convince him perhaps to change his ways, because we did see some footage of him like hanging a male sort of character, and whether or not this is his son, the male rider, I don't know, but it sounds really, really interesting, and I really like that idea. There were 2 human companions with you, a male and a female companion. Now, perhaps they are romanceable characters. Obviously, we don't know much about them. We did get to see more of our Asari, and I have to say, the more that I see about her, the more I'm liking her character. We actually got to hear her voice actress, who sounded really, really cool. I like the look of her. I was initially worried. I thought she looked too young, very, very young, but that'll be interesting, obviously, for the game. So maybe she's a maiden, a mercenary. She very much gives me a vibe of Arya T'Loak. She's her clothes that she's wearing very much remind me of that. She seems different to Liara, but obviously we won't know until we play the game. But there's lots of ideas about her going out there. Dante thinks that she is Arya T'Loak's love child, and that Arya had a child secretly after sort of forcing herself on Shepard in the Omega DLC. That's really amusing. Who knows? Maybe she has got that color across her eyes. GamerMD83 actually thinks that she perhaps was a companion of the father, and that the children have come across her on this world, kind of similar to what happened with Liara in Mass Effect 1, but it remains to be seen. But I have to say, this game looks really cool. I'm very, very interested to find out more. Mark Walters has alluded that, in fact, we are going to see more on N7 Day, which is November the 7th. They are going to be revealing a new trailer that we can check out, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more about it. Now, for those of you that might not have heard as well, there is a competition going out around there, which is a competition to basically voice a character in the new Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, to enter this competition is very easy. All you have to do is to go to this website, which I'll put in the description below, download the script, record yourself reading the script and send it into Bioware. And the deadline for that is going to be the 28th of September. And then a panel of judges will choose who they think are the best two contestants or entrants. And you'll find out by the 30th of November. And then obviously Bioware will pay to fly you to their nearest recording center and put you up in a hotel for up to 2 nights where you'll get to record that character. I am definitely going to enter this competition. I'm super excited about it. I cannot imagine being a character in Mass Effect Andromeda. It would be so cool. So I'm definitely going to enter that competition, and fingers crossed that I win. Probably won't do, but it still will be a lot of fun to enter into it. All right, guys and girls. Well, sorry that the camera basically is gone. My camera's just died on me, so I've just done audio footage over some background gameplay. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. Take care, guys and girls, and as always, happy gaming.